it got to the point where I was like, Maggie, we're buying a bigger pit and we're going to get paid for it.
Yeah, this didn't start as a business plan. Damo didn't start as a business plan. It started with, Danny fooling around, us having friends over, and all of a sudden we noticed that we were the place like everyone was coming to, and no one was ever cooking or bringing food. They were all just eating our food. I remember one of the big evenings.
Multiple pits going at the same time.
Yeah, one of the...
Welcome to the Ill Noise Business Playbook. We sit down with people building real impact in their communities and unpack the vision behind their work. If you care about real stories and real connection, you're in the right place. Let's make some noise.
Right, welcome to the Ill Noise Business Playbook. We are here with Danny and Maggie from Damo BBQ, and we're gonna have a lot of fun talking about you guys and talking about your business. So, how you guys doing today?
We're doing great.
Fantastic.
A little bit of warmer weather would be nice, but...
Good.
Neha and I just got a puppy, so I'm up at 5, 6 in the morning walking the dog. I can tell you it is getting warmer. It went from being, holy cow, don't go outside, to go outside, just wear a snowsuit. So it's getting better out there, but I think we're all kind of looking forward to spring coming around for all of us, for sure.
Absolutely.
Now, this is the Ill Noise Business Playbook. Obviously, Illinois is a nice little play on words of what Illinois is, right? So I myself and my wife, we are both from Illinois. And I am from, I'm not going to tell you where I'm from. I want to find out where you guys are from. Where'd you guys grow up? Where are you guys from?
We live in Villa Park. That's where we grew up. We actually met there. We lived across the street from each other.
Oh,
so
wow.
I've known Danny since I was 4 years old.
We haven't been married that long. I didn't like her when she was a little kid.
You did. You didn't like her.
I was the annoying little redheaded sister that lived across the street.
Okay.
He used to come over and play with my older brothers.
Okay. So, how long were you? So you guys grew up in Villa Park then. So once you were done in Villa Park, what did you guys end up doing? And obviously you can speak one at a time, but what did you guys do post high school? Did you go to school
I was
anywhere?
a union carpenter for 30 years.
Nice.
Before I started barbecue.
Okay.
So right out of high school, I became a carpenter.
Okay. So you went to school for that, Danny?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
beautiful.
The union training and all that, and I did that for 30 years.
Well, much props to you. My brother's works at a community college, Elgin Community College out here, and I always tell him that I wish some kids could figure it out a lot sooner rather than later, that maybe the traditional college is not for them and trade school is a little bit better option for some of the folks out there.
We definitely need it now. So
yeah, we do. How about you, Maggie? What did you do?
I actually was pretty much a stay-at-home mom. I have two children, 2 boys. We don't have kids together, but we each individually have kids. So I pretty much spent majority of my life raising them. I had kids young. And about, 20 years ago, I started doing corporate world. I worked for UPS loading trailers, moved my way up there, went to college, got a bachelor's degree. Now I work in the corporate world, 9 to 5.
Okay. Gotcha. So Danny, are you still doing carpentry work now, or are you just kind of full force on the barbecue stuff?
Full on barbecue.
Okay. And let's, before we kind of talk about your business, I love barbecue. Okay. I know I told you guys that before we started. I mean, I love barbecue. I mean, literally, if I could eat barbecue every day, I think I would. Big fan. Can't really think of something that doesn't taste better that's barbecued.
I agree.
But where did that come from, Danny? Was that something that your family, was your father a big barbecue guy?
Well, no, Maggie and I both come from big families. So cooking for a lot of people is something I grew up with. I'm from an Italian family of doing get-togethers. We always cooked an abundance amount of food, but the barbecue aspect of it was pretty much YouTube, watching all the big guys back in the day, barbecue pitmasters and brawls, and I could do that. And, 25 plus years ago, I started learning slowly how to do it.
No culinary background. All self-taught.
Yeah.
Okay. And Maggie, you said you're still in the corporate world right now. What do you currently do?
I'm a logistics analyst for a major plumbing company manufacturer.
Okay.
Pretty much what I do for Damo, I do at 9 to 5. I'm a logistics person, so I do all the background stuff. No one ever sees, talk to the customers, doing all the accounting, doing all the bookings, doing all of the social media. Some of the times the fun part is I get to play that I'm Dan online because people think that they're always talking to Danny when they message us. So, I message back, yeah, bro, everything's great.
That is awesome. So let's talk about this. So Danny, you're doing this full time, which I think is great. And Maggie, you're obviously playing a huge supportive role in this. What inspired you to not just kind of make this as something that was kind of fun, Danny, that you were sort of learning to do initially, but for you guys to come together and start this business?
Well, because I guess you could say, honing my craft and just doing it almost every weekend and holidays for friends and family. It got to the point where I was like, Maggie, we're buying a bigger pit and we're going to get paid for it.
Yeah, this didn't start as a business plan. Damo didn't start as a business plan. It started with, Danny fooling around, us having friends over. And all of a sudden we noticed that we were the place like everyone was coming to. And no one was ever cooking or bringing food. They were all just eating our food. I remember one of the big evenings.
Multiple pits going at the same time.
Yeah. One of the beginning part of our business, which we didn't know was a business then, but we ended up having a bunch of turkeys dropped off, some hams, some people's prime ribs, and meat just started showing up at our doorstep. And I'm like, Danny, whose is this?
Hey, Dan, I smell it going off. Can you throw this on the pit for me?
Right.
And I think that's when we looked at each other and we're like, you're definitely doing something right. People like your stuff. It's time to turn this into something that is more than, just a hobby. This is definitely something.
That is beautiful. And just for the audience to know, I'm kind of picking this up here, seeing Danny and Maggie Orlando. But can you tell us what Damo stands for, or did I just nail it I just nail it there?
It stands for darn amazing.
You just hit it right on the head.
Yeah.
Dan and Maggie Orlando.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So kind of a funny spin-off on that. And this gets into, why we kind of started and, how it's really personal. So our barbecue is really personal for us because we've been cooking for the people we love. But funny story, when Danny was cooking and showing up at people's houses, there would be grills and they'd have all the food. And then they'd all just look at Danny and like, you're cooking, right? And they're like, and he's like, I'm here for the party.
Right.
But a bunch of his high school friends that they've been amazing support group as well. But they kind of had this little thing that they would say is, his name is Danny O.
It's a normal name for people named Danny O, except my name is Dan O. So
there you go.
So they would call him Dano. And they eventually started saying, you can't go wrong with Dano's meat in your mouth. Like, doesn't matter what he cooks, everything that he makes is gonna be good. So when they showed up at parties, they're like, "Oh, Dan's cooking. All right, can't go wrong with Dano's meat in your mouth." So we kind of played off of that when we were thinking of our name, and we're like, Damo. Obviously, Dan and Maggie Orlando. It goes with our thing. We're Central Texas style barbecue with an Italian twist. Obviously, the Italian twist comes from his little twist that he does on everything. He's used to Sunday gravy, cooking with his dad, Sundays, which, our families were very close growing up. And as he said, we were cooking for big amounts of people. So it just was an organic thing for us.
That is so cool. You've got me rather intrigued, by the way. So I've eaten barbecue off and on. I'm not Italian, so I don't want to sound disrespectful here, but what in the world is an Italian spin to barbecue? That sounds so intriguing to me. I love Italian food, by the way. So right now I'm going to order some ziti later. Like, what is an Italian spin on barbecue?
So our mac and cheese, which we call mac and wow, that's a whole other story where the name is, but it just stems from I use cheddar cheese, mascarpone cheese, mozzarella. It's got Italian seasonings in it. The tomato, the noodles are a full semolina noodle, dried perfectly. I cook them to the perfect al dente. I add tomatoes to that. We married. There's any tomatoes. It's a San Marzano tomato from the San Marzano region of Italy. Pretty much the only ones I'll use. I marry all that together right before I serve it to you.
I love that.
That's that. One of the side dishes we do on the truck that I was been playing around with. If you don't know what it is, it's called an arancini, which is a stuffed rice ball. It's a Sicilian street food. While I make them, and they're normally deep fried. I put them on the smoker and air fry them, basically on the smoker.
A little bit healthier.
Okay. Our house-made sausage is a brisket sausage, but it's an Italian brisket sausage, all made out of brisket trimmings. Just most of our sides are all Italian.
You did an artichoke salad.
I do. Yeah, I do an artichoke salad over the summer. My potato salad is more of an Italian twist of a potato salad.
Mozzarella balls.
Yeah, I do lots. That's basically what it is. And sometimes you'll get that, okay, I feel like doing something off the wall, and I'll do like a brisket bolognese with pasta, stuff like that.
A lot of quality ingredients.
So, Danny, let's go back there. Why is it called? You said you had a story for the macaroni name. What's that all about?
We were doing an event at a winery.
Forget
about a winery up in Galena, and we just called it mac and cheese. And the mother, the little Italian woman, was walking by, and she says, "All right, let me try this mac and cheese." She took a bite of it and was like, "Wow, you got to change the name. That's Mac and Wow." And she erased the name off the board, and it's been Mac and Wow ever since.
They're amazing.
That is dope. That is so cool. How long and when did this business start for you guys? How long ago has it been?
As an official business.
Yes.
This is going on our 6th summer. So, as an official business in 20, middle of 21, 20, something like that. Yeah.
Okay. So you decided when everybody's in their home to go ahead and feed them rather well. I mean, I think there was a pandemic going around that time, right?
Yeah, there was. Well, that helped out a lot because we did get the smoker in the end of 20. So, and then
doing another business during 20.
During 20, we used to reclaim bourbon and wine barrels into home decor and furniture. So I was doing that, and then started the barbecue business, and the barbecue just took over. So,
and as you've you've been rock and rolling this for about 6 years or so. So, what sort of challenges have you had with this business getting the word out?
Are we still going through, or what we've had?
There's no challenges. It's all opportunities.
Okay, I will be honest. I'm a Gen X guy, so I know I shouldn't say that. So, what sort of areas of opportunities are there out there for you guys?
That's a great question. I think navigating growth the right way. We learned that quickly. Like for barbecue, that's the traditional food truck going into the brewery scenes and doing food trucks for private events and stuff. It wasn't a good fit for us. So not every opportunity is a good one, right?
And I think that's it wasn't a good fit for us because of the and I don't know how to say this without being the wrong way, but the way I want to be. With my quality and what I plan to serve my customers, the food trucks that were going to the breweries, and it's just not the way I want to be. Yeah. I cook if I'm cooking a brisket, I'm cooking the brisket the day before I'm serving it. So that's 10 to 12 hours on the smoker. That goes in a warmer overnight the rest before I serve.
It's part of the labor
It's a 24-hour thing, and then it's fresh. I don't want to be cooled down, reheat. I want it as fresh and best slice on that brisket I can serve.
Yeah. Saying no to the small, low return gigs, that was really hard for us to learn in the beginning, but it was necessary because we wanted to focus more on the catering, the private events, and customers who value, quality. And that's what helped get our business to be sustainable, because we started searching for not just what everybody in the industry was doing, but something that was a better fit to make us more quality and more search for the people that are looking for a premium brand.
I'll tell you, you've already hit on my favorite one. So I'm going to go see you, and I want to check out this brisket no matter what, because when I get barbecue, it's got to have brisket. I can have some ribs on there. Have anything else you shove on there, but give me some brisket. But Maggie, I think you hit on something really well that a lot of different businesses can learn. Everything's about an ROI, right? It's always about what you're doing and then what you're getting back in return. And I think it's not always about just taking. It's not always about grabbing on a hold of everything. It's about being really selective on what sort of kind of gets you that best return on your investment. So I think that's really a good lesson for everybody out there. Don't just do it.
And it's hard, especially when you're starting off and coming into the industry after everybody came. Everybody was going through COVID, and food trucks really became a big thing, and everybody wanted us everywhere. And it was like we had to take a step back and be like, we got to say no.
And
they're like, oh my gosh, what are we doing?
Yeah, and the fact that because of that quality, and we are a food truck and not a brick and mortar, some of, like Maggie had said before, some of those smaller and catering events I just couldn't do because if I didn't have anything else going on, I wasn't cooking a brisket. And if somebody says, I need brisket for 5 people, it's not worth my ROI to cook that to get, you know what I mean? I'm going to have wasteful stuff that I can't use.
So, Maggie, this might be it's going to be a question for both you guys, but I have a feeling you're going to probably have a nice response to this. But when you talk about growing the business, and I don't want to set it up. If you don't have a great response, that's okay too, Maggie, by the way. But when you're growing your business, you've really got to you've got to grow your customer base, right? You've got to find your people. You got to retain your people, and you got to grow your people, right? So what sort of steps do you guys put in place in order for people to learn about all the great stuff you're doing with Damo?
Well, it's definitely not Danny's patience. No, I'm just kidding. Honestly, I think the biggest, besides our quality product that we put out to people with the quality ingredients, I think it's us. Like we're kind of a crazy dynamic, and that's kind of what grew us organically as well. Because when people started having events, started having parties and whatever, most of the events and parties that we were catering, we actually became like a friend to those people. Like people were inviting us not because, hey, I need a caterer or whatever. They're like, you guys are going to make this something to remember. We want Damo there. Like, well, we're going to have a party. We're going to have a graduation. Oh, Damo, of course, Damo. Okay. And then, they would worry about the rest of the stuff. Like they knew.
And you guys are definitely staying for the party, right?
Yeah, we got invited to a pierogi party this year.
A what?
A pierogi party. Like we brought them food and we left with food.
It's very strange.
I'm not going to turn down a good pierogi, by the way. So I need to throw that out there. Certainly grew up with that in the neighborhood. What you're saying makes a lot of sense too. And I don't want to take away from your product, which I imagine is wonderful. And I'm going to find out how wonderful it is because Neha and I are going to come see you guys and eat your food. But whenever I was, out there in the corporate world and helping people sell products, I would always tell people they're not going to buy the product because of the product itself. They're going to buy the product because of the relationship that they have with the experience that they have with you. And I think that's what you're really kind of getting at. Again,
it's the experience, the Damo experience.
Yes.
You come to our food truck, you're coming for brisket. You know our brisket, you know our product, but then you're like, oh, what do you got on the smoker now? We take them for a little pit tour. They get to know all of our pits have names. There's Big Papa, Willie, Snoop, Jeff. They all have names, so they get introduced, and honestly, it's like a community-driven thing because people are coming there like, some people don't even come to buy our food. They come to socialize with us.
Plenty of people stop by just to talk about the look at the barbecue pits. Talk to me.
He's up at really early at the pit. At like 5 o'clock in the morning, one of our customers came and dropped him off donuts.
She wasn't even close. She's like a half hour away. She came specifically to bring me donuts. I'll see you at lunch. I was like, thanks.
That's pretty cool. And apparently you guys are fans of 1990s hip hop. Is that right? I mean, these smokers.
A little bit.
You can tell our era.
It's my era too, guys. I can tell you that for sure.
High school in 92. That kind of happens.
You graduated high school in 92?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that was the winter chicken dinner what Neha was talking about. So did I, my friend. I graduated high school that same exact year.
Go.
So that's where she was
going. I think we
going.
have a lot more in common though.
We do?
Yeah. Well, the other thing.
Oh, well.
Okay.
Well,
I hope that
at some time.
Oh, okay. Well, you know what? We're going to pivot here really quick. So I'll let you guys know. We started this as a sports show. My father's side of the family was born on the south side of Chicago, so I'm a White Sox fan. I know everybody else that I grew up with in the western suburbs was Cubs fan, so I'm okay with that. My mother grew up in what's now Wrigleyville, so I've never been one of those that loves the Sox and hates the Cubs. Big time Bulls fan, and fell in love with football in 1985, and had the opportunity to meet Mr. Walter Payton twice in my life. Once as a kid, once as an adult, and he overwhelmed me. So, what sort of sports are you guys into?
Oh, we do like to watch baseball.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely baseball. He grew up as a Cubs fan. I grew up as a Sox fan.
Okay.
We're now Cardinals fans for the moment.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, my wife's a Cardinals fan too, so I can't. She grew up in Central Illinois, and it was a little closer to get to those games than the other ones. Anyways, let's get back to where we're going with this. So, you've been doing this for 6 years, and you see a lot of trends. You've probably really, you said you've done a lot of research, you're doing a lot of background, you're watching a lot of videos, and so on and so forth. So, any changes that you guys have seen in the last 6 years that you guys have been officially doing this?
Well, other than the prices of beef are rising, which is crazy.
We do take a trip down to Texas every January. We've tried to, and so that is where we get most of our knowledge about what trends, all those kinds of things. We have some good friends with some of the top Texas barbecues that we go and visit. One of our
pitmasters down in Texas that we're friends with. I think
nice.
The biggest thing that has changed from I'm a little bit of a nerd more than my wife is about following this. So, when I started barbecuing and following all the big restaurants of Franklin's and Terry Black's and all that stuff down in Texas, it was just about barbecue then. Now it's more about a craft, and it's not just cooking meat and putting it out. It's having that perfect slice of brisket, that perfect bite of that rib. The pork belly is perfectly squared and perfectly glazed. I mean, I don't know if you know what a Michelin star restaurant is, and most people do and don't, but now barbecue restaurants are getting that Michelin star 2 and 3 times, consecutively years in a row. So it's changed from just that, taking that old cut of meat and turning it into something good. It's more of a I don't know what a culture really, it's different.
But and what are your thoughts on that then? Is that something that you've embraced? Is that something that you'd rather it not be? Do you sort of have a note to the old days, or are you enjoying the way that's sort of now being viewed upon?
Yeah, I think that's what sets him apart, though. I think, a lot of people out here are just used to, putting out a copious amount of brisket.
Chicago style barbecue is what I put it as. And there's nothing wrong with that. But this is how I grew up. That's how my parents knew, I don't even know if there is a still restaurant called, it used to be called Carson's Ribs. And, you would get a slab of ribs that were just slathered in barbecue sauce. You'd pick up the bone, the meat fell off. And that's what people are used to.
Yeah.
And it's not where when I cook, most of the cook is really simple. Salt, pepper, garlic, and I let the wood and the smoker do its job and the meat taste. If I put a barbecue sauce on something, it's really just to amplify and complement the meat. I really don't put it on it. I have a glaze that goes on stuff. Again, they use that as a seasoning, not a just dump it on to mask what the food is that I cook.
Right. So we spent a lot of time educating people on, how to eat, our food and what sets us apart from, what they're used to in barbecue in the Chicagoland area.
I get a little upset of all the freebies we have to give out, but it is what it is to teach people.
Well, I was going to hit you up on that, but we'll talk about that later.
Don't worry.
No, it's so cool that you say that though, Danny. My wife will tell you, whenever we cook anything, I rarely put anything on it. I always just want I always just want to embrace the actual taste of the food itself. And I feel like, and I'll be honest, and we're not talking about barbecue, but I'll just say this: if I see anybody throw some steak sauce on a steak, my mind blows up. I think you should really enjoy whatever you're eating, and not have to worry about decorating it, as I like to say with the food. And I certainly do know Michelin star restaurants. I was traveling constantly prior to doing what I'm doing now for almost 20 years, and I would have the opportunity to go to a lot of different nice restaurants. And I've seen some businesses like you that are sort of creeping up on those Michelin star restaurant sort of options as well, which I think is really cool, for sure. So you told me a really cool story about the fact that you're cooking up some meat, and some lady stopped by and gave us some donuts and came along later on the way. But what I'd really love for you guys, and it can be more than one, but I'd love for you to share a story about somebody or some entity that you've been able to do some really wonderful stuff for that's put a big old smile on your face and made you realize that, man, my passion is really sort of equating to happiness for others.
Happens a lot.
Yeah, that happens a lot. I think maybe last year was
This is a big leap of faith, right? Like when you're self-funded, when you're a small business, husband and wife team, it's a lot of doubts and fears because you're putting everything out there in someone else's hands. Like, are they going to like our food? Are they going to do this? Well, what happens if this happens? So you're putting a lot of faith out there. And yeah, it is cool because there has been numerous times where we have had people and we're nervous about something or we're doing something, we're not paying attention, and all of a sudden someone comes up, Danny always hears it.
Oh man, that's the best thing I've ever had in my life. Or something on those lines.
Sure.
We've had a bunch of ebbs and flows, ups and downs with this business and growing in the past few years.
Sure.
End of last year, we landed a spot for the food truck that's permanent. We're on another temporary permanency right now for that thing before the rest of this summer. But I think the coolest thing is when we had a group of guys that would come back every week or every 2 weeks on Friday. The whole company would come and pull their cars in, their trucks in, and they would all come up to get food. And if I didn't have what they wanted, they would give me a bunch of crap about it. But they would always come back. And I would look at my wife and go, is it really that good? I mean, I'm just doing what I've always done. Is it really? And then that was at the beginning of that couple of months that we did that. And that just kept happening. Kept getting the same customers come back. The same couple little old ladies that come for 3 pounds of turkey every week. My chicken every week.
Yeah.
And then sitting in the truck and watching people get our food and go and sit at the picnic tables right out in front of the truck. That's cool. I was like, oh, look at that.
The spot that we've landed right now for the food truck is in our actual town that we live in Sleepy Hollow. And it's even more special because these are like our actual neighbors. And like, this is like our open house, right? Like every time that, we have an event, people are coming up and we're like, oh, we're your neighbors. Oh, where do you live? And,
Nice.
And as Danny said, there's been plenty of those times where people come back and, gave us, so much, like such amazing feedback about our food. And when we were first starting off, we're like, how is this going to work? What are we going to do? What if we do this? What if we do that? Taking a spin off of everything. And I think the biggest part that we've learned is we have to be adaptable to whatever's going to play out. If we cook this much, we got to just take a leap of faith, do it. But towards the beginning of this, all of a sudden we started getting phone calls of people wanting our food to place an order, and we're like, this isn't how food trucks go. Like, how did they find our number? Like, people placed orders online, and I'm like, I don't even know how they did that. How did that happen? So I'd have to like go in and online and figure out how they placed an order so I could turn it off. There was a time I was delivering a pork sandwich to someone in a concrete what was it? A concrete company?
Concrete truck facility.
Yeah.
Which who became a very good customer of ours, came back almost every week.
Every week. Another customer, they called up. They're like, oh, we want to place an order to pick up at 12 o'clock. I'm like, do we do that? I'm like, I guess we do now. Okay, what's your order?
We're opening up at 11. I think it was 11 to 5 every day for 3 days a week, and pretty much sold out by 1:30, 2 o'clock every day.
People started coming earlier to pay for and place their order before we even opened.
Oh, yeah.
Like, we just want to make sure we get your food.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, we do that too now, I guess. Like, so just like learning, like I said, being adaptable and, trusting that, we're taking a leap of faith. We're knowing people trust us for important moments and they want to have our food, and we're learning just as they're learning about us.
And the more we grow, the more I'll be able to cook, because then, processes happen and I can expand our equipment The little truck that we have right now, I can't hold a lot of food. And once you cook barbecue, if everybody knows barbecue, it's not like if I run out of ribs, I can go grab some more.
Right.
It's all, that's it.
Yeah.
So we can only store just so much on the truck.
What I will tell you guys is that when you're passionate about something and you're providing good service, then people are going to tell people, right? So when you provide somebody with a good experience, they're going to tell 10 people. When you provide them with a bad experience, they're going to tell 100, right? So keep doing that good stuff, and you're going to keep going and growing, right? And it sounds like you are. And also, may I say, as I am no longer in the corporate world that I was in for 20 years, I know what it's like to take a leap of faith in a business with my wife.
That's always fun, isn't it?
Yeah, there's sure, Dan. Maybe another day we could talk off the show. But it's
over barbecue.
It's always good. It's always good. Well, listen, guys. Really impressed with you guys. I love seeing your story is an amazing one. I can't wait to kind of share this. The fact that you guys grew up across the street is pretty cool. And the fact that you guys, are together now, and you've got this combined family, and doing this thing that you're really passionate about. And Danny, you decided a while ago to kind of stop what you're doing and really kind of jump into this. And Maggie, the fact that you're kind of coming along for the ride and supporting them and loving them along the way. I can see why you guys are as successful as you are, and I can't wait to see how the continued success that you guys have. So I want to say on behalf of the Ill Noise Business Playbook, we really appreciate you guys' time today. We're going to let everybody know how to get a hold of you and stuff like that. And watch out for myself and Neha to come out there and to come see you guys and enjoy your meats. Okay?
Call me before you come.
You got it. You got it. You guys, yeah, I will certainly do so. And let the brisket be ready to rock and roll when I get there, Danny, okay?
You got it.
Awesome. You guys have a great day today, okay? Thanks for spending some time with us.
You're welcome. Thank you, Joe.
You got it. Take care.